my makeup is so much better now than the last 2 reviews, hooray! But if I talk, it's gonna crack. Hooray! I'm in Salad and I saw 4. It is directed by Darren Lynn Bozeman, written by Patrick Melton, and also Marcus Dunstan. And if you haven't seen this movie, I will spoil it for you. This movie starts, we're following, basically, these people go dig into John Kramer's stomach and finds a cassette tape covered in wax. They play it, and it's like, yo, this isn't done yet. I'm like, bro, when is this ever going to get done? Obviously never, because there's a Saw 10, and I hear they're in production of Saw 11, and this is only Saw 4. But he promises, yo, this is never going to stop. This is only the beginning, and I'm dead, but I have accomplices. Woo-hoo, and you're going to learn who they are. Remember, in Saw 3, there's this cassette tape covered in wax that he fumbles with, but it turns out he swallowed it before he died. Wow, cool stuff. Keep in mind, this is him swallowing it at the end of Saw 3, not during Saw 3, but towards the end. Keep that in mind for the end of this movie. So there's another thing happening. Wow, I can't believe it, another situation. But it's instead this detective being sent through, and he's like, yo, look what I got. I got all these serial killers, and also the serial rapist, and also the serial shoplifter, the serial everything. They're doing crimes, they're no good. Doing criminal acts is no good. And so he goes through, and he has empathy for them when they are there, but then he plays the tape, and it's like, this guy's committed a bunch of rapes, or this guy's killed a bunch of people, this woman has sex trafficked a lot of victims. And I guess because they've done crimes, that this detective is supposed to be like, ew, disgusting, you're a terrible person, I'm gonna let you die. And the entire purpose of this is that, what? Wait, I thought it was supposed to be so you cherish life. Now we're just going to have a cop be sent through this game with a bunch of criminals now? Like, what? What's going on? What? This isn't the same thing as the past 3 experiments where it's all about cherishing life. Well, I guess the last one in Saw 3 was about, hey, do you want to get revenge for your son dying? Well, here are the people on a platter. That's not appreciate your life as the lesson. Not really. And this one isn't either. It's supposed to be like, if you're a cop, you're not supposed to have sympathy for people who are kidnapped by me, John Kramer, or my accomplices. You're not supposed to have any sympathy for them. You're supposed to let them die. They're horrible deaths, I guess. I think the only reason why I have a problem with this is that it goes against the previous lessons that John Kramer's been trying to establish. Like, hey, have a happy life. Enjoy your life. If you don't, I'm gonna get you, and you're gonna be part of my games. I guess it was supposed to be more cathartic, that I enjoyed seeing the serial rapist get torn apart limb by limb or something. I mean, it wasn't cool that he did the rapes, but at the same time, like, it's pretty brutal. Just send them through the prison system. It's more torture, and they have to live through it because of torture reasons. You're locked in, confined space. You can't go anywhere. All your other inmates hate you because you're a rapist or something. And they're gonna attack you at any time they can. And that seems more of a fate for a rapist than just executing Order 66 on their butt and then just making sure they suffer in a short amount of time versus a long amount of time, like 10 years. Make them suffer through the system, man. That's what they got the system for. It's hell on earth, is what I hear the prison system is. So John Kramer actually did more for criminals than he thought he would by ending their suffering early. They're only suffering for, like, what, 48 hours with this method? They're awake, and then they are in a trap, and then the game usually activates after a few minutes, and then they have either a minute or like an hour or whatever. That time they have to suffer. So John Kramer is actually doing these criminals a service by ending their suffering early. So anyway, enough about that. The detective goes through the maze, right? And he does all that fun jazz. And then, what's interesting about this is one by one, he goes through each criminal, and then there's like the end of the hall, and he's trying to save these two fellows. I think they're his buddies, I think. I don't know what they have to do with any of this, but they have to be saved. And they're standing on ice. One of them is standing on ice that's melting, and if it melts, then if he gets off like the block of ice, there's like a teeter-totter system that makes it so all the water goes at the bottom, and then it activates some sort of electrical current that makes it so they both electrocute and die. Well, he electrocutes and dies, and this other one hangs, I think. And then this guy goes through the door, and the ice goes right on the head. Because there's two little ice things held up in the ceiling that if you open the door, it makes it go fall and crush the guy's head. And then that guy's dead, and then the other guy gets electrocuted. Wow, so cool. Alright, here's what I got an issue with Saw 4. It's revealed that the events of Saw 3 and 4 happen at the exact same time. I thought this was really cool. But then, remember in the very start of the movie, it's, hey, these games are going to happen again after John Kramer's death. But this is supposed to take place during when John Kramer's alive, but you're being told, hey, you got these games are happening even after I'm dead, but this game is happening while you're dead, but this all takes place after you find the tape. Either the editing isn't very clear, or the filmmaking isn't very clear to show that we got something that's happening in the present and something that's happening in the past. It's not clear, the timeline, and because of this, it doesn't make sense. Why is Saw 3 and Saw 4 happening at the same time? You found the cassette tape inside dead John Kramer's body, but at the end of the movie, he is now dying. Like, he is in the process of almost being dead. But he was alive during the events of Saw 4. I don't know. It's whatever. But it's a little bit better than Saw 2, for sure. Not as good as Saw 3, because Saw 3 definitely is happening in a very linear timeline. That even if any deviation of time going on, it's indicated in visual filmmaking styles, like you have the vignette around the corners, or you make it a little bit warmer versus the present is cooler in color temperature. There's ways to make it so it looks like we're in a back in time, you know, or in the past versus the present. Saw doesn't do any of this. Because of that, the timeline is pretty murky, and it's pretty annoying to decipher when Saw 3 and Saw 4 happens. People say it happens at the same time, but I have a problem with it. I thought it happened at the same time. If you forget the very beginning, and you're like, oh, what's happening throughout the entire movie, and then it's revealed, oh, this happened at the same time. It's like, oh my goodness, it's happening at the same time. It's so great. But then you remember the beginning after you've left the theater or whatever. Or in my case, after a few days of stewing on it, I'm like, wait, you found the cassette tape at the very beginning. Why is it happening at the same time? It couldn't. It really couldn't. So, upon first initial watch, Saw 4 is better than the other ones. But upon thinking about it, it's not as good as 3. But Saw 4 is not as boring as 2. So there's that. And so, I gotta give this film, it's a solid 5.4 out of 10. If you like this review, watch another one on the platform. Really like that $20 deals on patreon.com/ASEPresents for 1 movie review for 1 month. Go to this link tree to support the daily grindiness of all the daily movies. So go here. And until next time, mint salad sauce. See you to my salad croutons and bacon bits. And I'm gonna go play a game.